Okay. Hi, Fefer.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm okay.
You okay?
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Playing lots of video games. Do you know
Video
what those are?
games. No, tell me about them.
They're games made out of videos.
Really?
Right? That's how that
What is
works,
this
right?
concept? Yes.
I don't know. But they're made out of videos.
I've seen those.
Have
I've
you?
seen those on my TV.
What's that? What's a TV?
Your TV. What's a TV with you?
There we go. I'm like, boo, boo. Get off the stage. Get off the stage.
No, you can't boo me.
Oh, I can boo
I am
you.
your ruler.
Oh, you can rule me, baby. I like when you rule me. Mm. Do that again. Oh, aye.
Sorry, I spilled my water.
Oh, don't do that. Welcome to the next episode of VGXL. I'm your host, Daniel, aka Games. Joining me again today is the beautiful Fefer from the channel.
Hello.
Fefer. And we are going to be talking about video games.
Video games.
And video game news. And if you're not already, if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the like button, as it supposedly helps YouTubers. They say it all the time, so I'm going to say it too. Smash that like button, smash subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify or anything that has any kind of ranking system, please give us those 5 stars, as it'll help a brother out, and a sister, and a wife. So please do those good things. And yeah, what's going on?
Hi. Nothing. How you doing?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. It's been a busy ass week this week. Lots of video games. I was grinding as much Dying Light last week as I could. Didn't get to finish it because then I started other stuff. So we're gonna be doing that. Last thing is, please follow us on at VGXL Podcast on Twitter, Video Games Life, X Life, everywhere else. If you want to talk to me directly, and we can follow the beautiful Fefer at Fefer Plays on Twitter, and Fefer everywhere else, right? Oh, you're Fefer on Twitter, Twitch.
Fefer Plays also on Instagram. I still don't have all the singled out Feffers everywhere, sadly.
I know. These people.
How dare somebody else decide to call themselves Fefer?
I know, right? Like, where you get that from?
What's wrong with them?
Where you get that from?
What's wrong with them?
Why are you stealing that for?
I'm gonna angrily DM them. How dare you take my name? Give it back, please.
So we get a few listens every week. So I know there's a few of you listening, and I notice none of you are interacting. How dare you? Shame. Shame.
Don't shame them.
Shame.
That's
I need some interaction. Show me some love. Say you're a dummy on the comment section. Say something. Tweet at me. You know, if you talk to me in Discord, say, hey, you're a dummy. Say something to me, please. Thank you.
Hey, VGXL, you, sir, are a butt.
Oh, I appreciate that. See? Interaction. I mean, I'm saying there's people listening. The numbers are going up. So I want some something. Give me something.
We
I'm
definitely
begging.
Appreciate you all listening, whoever you are.
No, I do appreciate it. Very, very, very much. It actually was what keeps me going, because if that was at 0, I'd probably just be like, no, not at all. But you know what I mean. I guess I'd just be having to push that much harder, because I do have to get these rookie numbers up. But yeah, so like I was saying, it was a busy week playing a lot of video games. Not a lot of different video games, just playing Dying Light. I was trying to do that as hard as possible, and then I was playing I started Horizon over the weekend, and I'm having a great time.
It looks really nice, not for nothing.
It does. I'm gonna get a little bit more into that in a moment. But what are some things you were playing this week, Fefer?
So this week on stream, I played Sable, and that did not go well.
What happened?
I like how how the game looked. I really liked it. It's just that once you started moving, like the effect of it was like it was supposed to be skipping, and it had this weird effect on it when you're moving that it made me nauseous. It just made me straight nauseous, and I threw my patches on and everything, and I physically could not play the game
Yeah, it's
as
a
much as I
shame.
wanted to. I really wanted to continue because it's not like it was a boring game either. It
Right.
was it was something I really wanted to continue and discover and get into the story because now I'm missing out on that story. But I really couldn't.
Yeah, I saw
That was
I caught a bit of that, and I noticed that that part of the style of the game is even though it does 60 FPS and more, that they stylized it to run at a like a jumpy, like almost like a 24 frame, while everything else is 60 FPS and plus. Around moving the cameras can be smooth and all that. The character itself, yeah, moves at like this weird stylized way of running, like it's a old movie of sorts, like a 15 FPS or 24 FPS style. And if you've played like Spider-Man, I believe Miles Morales, it
Oh
actually
yeah.
has that effect if you use the Into the Spider Verse skin. So it has the whole like movie effect. Slow, really low frame rate, and it did the same thing. I remember you looked and you're like, "Oh my gosh, that's gonna make me sick."
Yeah.
And even though the game
Exactly.
ran like beautiful, it's like, yeah, it's weird. It's like with accessibility nowadays, that was a big oversight. Like because
Exactly.
that's the definition of having you know a disability in a sense. You know what I mean? If it's making you
Exactly.
sick, if it's physically making you sick to play it, then there should, if you want everyone to be able to enjoy it, just like everyone cries for an easy mode in Dark Souls, a game like that needs to should require a
Mhm.
smoother frame rate for the character. And if that's not,
Exactly.
and if they can do it in Spider-Man, that means it's possible that they can make it where they just add those frames. Maybe in an update someday they'll, because you're not the only one. Tons of people.
Mhm.
If you read
Mhm.
reviews, tons of people get sick from that game.
I know, and that sucks cuz then this has been a game that I've been waiting for so long. Even yes, I know it came out back in September and it took me how many months in September to play it. But even I was still looking forward to it. I just finally made the time on in my own schedule to play it, and it just sucks that
I
it
mean, funny enough,
had to be
Sable.
like this.
What say that last part?
No, it sucks it had to be like this.
Yeah. I mean, not for nothing. What I was gonna say was that Sable, like I said, going back to the reviews and reading up on the game, a lot of people, no, early on, if you would have played in September, you would have been in the same situation, not only because of the style, but apparently it had a lot of technical issues back then. So I'm
Okay, yeah, I've
sure,
seen they had the polished version. Oh, I played the polished version, and that didn't
probably.
do me any justice either.
Exactly. So no matter what, you were screwed. So even though you waited, you were probably better off, I guess, even getting as far as you did, because the it like being jumpy, apparently, like it skipped a little bit, like that would have made you even more sick. You probably wouldn't have even played. You played like a solid hour, I think, right? Or like
Yeah, yeah.
before you turned it off. So oh
Yeah, I was
well.
trying to roll with those punches, but it just didn't work out. And
Something
then
that just hit my mind is maybe there's mods. The modern community sometimes fixes these things, so maybe something worth
right.
looking into. I didn't even think about that night. So hey, maybe there's a chance you can get a mod that fixes the animations. I don't know.
So you're saying there's a chance. Yes, no,
Maybe.
it's true. It's true.
It's
Who
a small
knows?
game, so it's a shot in the
I,
dark.
I know it's true though because then but the modding community really does have that passion that hey, I might really have a chance for them to pick up this game because of how maybe a handful of other people like myself really started enjoying it but just couldn't, you know?
Right, exactly. That's a shame.
Yeah.
I think you played another big game though this week, right?
I did. So I played Sable, but then I also before I played that big game, that was really cool. Um, I tried out this game Gears of Eden,
That's right. That's right.
and that was such a fun game. So it's you're pretty much it's No Man's Sky meets Wally in No Man's Sky. So you're this little robot with little wheels and stuff. You're traversing a planet that you just landed on, and you have your little gadgets on yourself. You have solar panels. You have to take care of your wheels. You have to go mining for stuff to upgrade your stuff, to fix your stuff, and um I think it has potential. I really look forward to it because just like No Man's Sky, you're going out and you're mining for things and you're gathering stuff and you're fixing up stuff. Like you start seeing your progress as you're going along, and I think it's really cool.
Hmm.
I didn't play too well. I played a whole stream of it. I played a few hours of it, and the dev team was super nice, and they were hanging out in chat, kind of bullying me at times, making me fly and explode everywhere. But
Because
they were having a good time. I had a good time playing it, and I
well,
definitely want to go back to it and see the progress once it's and they also have a Kickstarter. Maybe we can throw the link to the Kickstarter in the video description.
yeah, I can throw it
So if
in
anybody's
yeah.
interested, they can look it up because
Even in
they're
the
working on it.
audio, we can throw it in the description or something. So yeah, we can throw that. We'll throw that in below.
Yeah, no, that would be really cool because they are still working on it. They've got a little less than a month to make the Kickstarter goal. And I would really love to see it. I would really love to see the full on game. With it is a dev team of 4 people right now. They had a lot of stuff going on between them in these past few years, trying to make this game, and then COVID hit, and of course personal hardships hit. But this seems that they're coming back on track to really kind of push forward with the game, and I think it's really fun so far. I got hooked on it.
Yeah, no, you look like I remember you only supposed to play an hour and you played the whole stream, so that's pretty awesome. There you go.
Hi,
There you
I'm
go.
back.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Before, so when you said that they were harassing you or whatnot, that was the Twitch integration, right?
Oh, yes, it has Twitch integration as well. Yes. And I think they added another command to it. So I I think it's really fun that they add, yes, Twitch integration. So that's a really fun thing that they added in there.
No, but that's cool that you know that the game has Twitch integration and it does does a lot of cool stuff or whatever. So yeah,
Mhm.
so I actually had you on and it was fun like watching all the little things you could do. And I would love to see that game get fully realized. It looked a little simple, so it's like I'd love to see it fully realized and see what kind of work they could put into a game like that. So
Absolutely.
good luck
Yes.
to what's the studio name?
It is, oh, I forgot their name. Cubit Games. Cubit
Cubit. What's
Games.
that? Qubit?
No,
Q.
Cubit.
Oh,
Cubit.
sorry. I'm thinking Qbert. So I thought, yeah. Sorry, I'm old.
Old man. But you can definitely check out the demo on Steam. There's an alpha demo. So, Gears of Eden.
And then you played something else, right?
Yes, I played the Thirsty God game.
I know.
Hades. It was such a thirst trap game. So good though. It's so fast paced And I don't know, I just loved everything about it so far. I really so it's about okay, I've already calculated. It's about a 20-hour game I see everywhere. And I've got about 3 I played a little bit offline. I couldn't help myself. Well, only a tiny bit further. So I have maybe about 3.5 hours played. And so that's about 16.5 hours that I have left. So I'm going to work on this game. I plan on completing this game because of how hooked it's gotten me, because I love the fact that every time you die, you're told how you died. At one point, I died because it got so hectic with these bomber monsters, and then they just bombed the crap out of me. And there was so much going on. I guess I was standing there. So they're like, "Oh man, it looks like you've got blown up." That's what happens when you stop and stand there while these bombs are blowing up around you. Like, "Oh, how dare you? How dare you call me out?"
Yes, it's
Like,
such a
"Oh,
nice
you got
touch.
you died by the hand of Meg the Great, huh?" Like, rude.
Yeah, no, I gotta say, like, I played it a bit when it was new, and man, the same thing. Like, I got super addicted to that game. Played hours on there. I still haven't done an
Mhm.
escape, and then yeah, it threw me off when I died, and it was like, okay, yeah, it was like, oh, whatever killed you, and then I died by some other weird thing, and it's like, oh man, you really, like, you don't fall in the lava, and I'm just like, oh shit, like, it really gets descriptive of how you died, and it's pretty awesome, and I
It's
love that.
great.
Yeah,
I really like it, because then once you start gathering, even that you start collecting like these different tokens and stuff to unlock the different weapons. And then
right.
at first I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to try any other weapons. I really like the sword I started out with. And then you try out this other spear thing, and then you start getting your bow and arrow, and then it's like, oh damn, this is really powerful. And the shield, and you can shield bash. And it's all of the weapons that you're given so far, because I haven't gotten very far, of course, are really cool and powerful, and you can do this variety of things between each of them. So you have different play styles of weapons. You have a range of weapons to choose from. So that's really cool.
Yeah,
I think that's really
absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can pick, once you get the one that really resonates with you, then you know what I
Yes.
mean. Then you can switch it up and stuff. Yeah, no, it's definitely a really fun game and very addictive. And we talked about this offline, but it's one of those games like I think it got snubbed. It's sad that it's one of those games that gets snubbed because it's an indie game for in award shows. So it's like while it did win awards in other smaller venues, it's like the VGAs sometimes kind of kills me with how they do it. And I think hopefully
Mhm.
Keeley will he actually has been interacting with the community, and he's had a few Twitter Spaces, just talking directly to people, and I think we need better independent studio representation, like games that are really like hitting those
Yes.
marks, changing up the formula, like really like that are that are getting those high reviews, but like I think there needs to be a better voting system, because it's like if
Mhm.
it is outlets that are voting these games, then I don't know. I feel like then how you're presenting it to them needs to change, because it's like or maybe make a have like game of the year, and or separate it, have AAA game of the year and have indie game of the year, like side by side. You know what I mean? Like they should be held in the highest regards, because a lot of
Yes.
times the mentality, and you can't help this, but the mentality changes it up. You know what I mean? And it's like I feel like like if he has a lot of influence in the gaming space, because now he has two major shows throughout the year. So now he has the Game Awards to end off the year, and he has the Summer Games Fest, which is essentially going to be the new E3. And the
Oh
more
yeah, of
E3
course.
doesn't come around because they keep blaming COVID and having excuses, the more, even though Keeley has I realize has essentially teamed up with them. So it's not like he's on some like I'm gonna overtake the E3, but come on, he is pretty much the face of gaming, like major gaming things. Oh no, and then he has
Absolutely.
it's not even that. Then he has Gamescom. You know,
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
so he did three. He's doing three shows a year now. So now he's Summer Games Fest. What was it? Game something Night Live. What was it called? Like something, like whatever the Gamescom show
Like
they.
the yeah, it was like Friday
Yeah,
Games Night Live or something. I forget.
yeah, like uh opening night
Opening Night
live.
Live.
Yeah. So exactly, and that's pretty much his other big show. So it's like, so he's doing three
Mhm.
shows. He has the connections to say, you know what, let's separate them. I think he should just separate them, and because it's indies, unless it's like unless it's an indie game on a AAA scale of graphical fidelity, we're not gonna get. I feel like we're never gonna get an indie game winning an award show. It has to be a game that really blows like things out of the water, because it just sucks
Yes,
that Valheim barely
exactly.
got any recognition. A game that was like top of the charts for weeks.
Yes.
5 million, 6 million copies sold, purchased,
Mhm.
legally purchased, through PC. And I know there's some listeners that swear that people on PC don't buy games. And, that's a testament to that, because that's a game that you can easily buy and not, I mean, I'm sure you can steal that game
Oh,
and
of
or
course.
whatnot, because I don't think it has a huge like anti-piracy thing built into it. So it's like, like people were buying that game. Yeah, granted it was $20, but still, 6 million copies sold. Everyone was playing that game, and it's still going pretty strong today. And
It is.
and it
We still
barely
need to go back to it.
exactly. I
We get
still
that
get
itch from
itched to
time to
go back to
time.
that game. That game was
Yeah.
was was made very well, and the sad part is that it doesn't get recognition in these award shows. It
Mhm.
got something, because I think it won something, but still, it's like, it barely gets anything past that. I don't know. I feel like they
Mhm.
need. I feel like the whatever the formula form that these outlets send over. I mean that he's sending over to these outlets to give their pick of game of the year. It's like
Mhm.
it's real typical shit that I'm just like, the lineup this last year was pretty bad, and it's like, I don't know. It just feels like they could do better than that, and
Mhm.
it's just
Mhm.
sad that shit like this happens. What else? So, but yeah, you know, so like I said, Hades is a great game, and I'm glad that I mean, war shows aren't the end all be all of a game doing successfully. But if you look at
Yes.
Steam, if you look at the PlayStation Store, everything that gets an award, it's like award winner, at the VGAs, blah blah blah, like that. It
Mhm.
helps sells games. It does. It's a
It
giant
does.
commercial, and that's why it happens. That's why the Oscars happen. I always think back to LA Confidential. LA Confidential, nobody knew about that movie. Nobody cared or knew about that movie. Didn't do good in the box office, but it won an Oscar. And guess what? They put it back in the theater, and everyone went to go see because it won an Oscar. So
Mhm.
award shows, sell, the things that they're giving awards to. You know what I mean? So if you've never
Yes.
heard of It Takes Two and it winning Game of the Year, you know what I mean? Like, that's a big freaking deal. You know what I mean? But it's
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
Last of Us, please, Hades is a better game than Last of Us. I'm sorry. And, not graphically, no, and maybe, and the story is all subjective or whatever, but as a game, the gamey
Mhm.
bits,
Mhm.
that's what I think needs to take, should take precedence sometimes. Like, like that should really be the thing that we look at. Is the core game worth something, and I really feel like more games should be ranked around that. I mean, then Nintendo would probably win everything, but whenever they have a game coming out, because a lot of times, I mean, the game part is the most fun part of a Nintendo game.
It's true.
But
Yeah.
it is what it is. Hopefully, we'll see. Things. He'll hear some feedback, and maybe things will change. Or, like I said, maybe have it mention, like, best indie game of the year goes to this, and then let game of the year, without saying AAA game of the year, like, let that be the next thing that gets announced. Like, or like have them back side by
Mhm.
side. Like you mentioned indie game of the year, and hold it in a high regard. Like, this is the best
Mhm.
game on a low budget that came out this year. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
the most
Mhm.
highly ranked game that wasn't AAA. Like, I feel like that should just be held in high regard, you know. But
Yeah. I
Anyway,
know indies don't get enough recognition. It
it
just sucks.
it's true, and you're gonna change that, Pfeffer.
Yes, we are going to change that.
Yes. Um, but yeah, for me, so playing a lot of I played a lot of Dying Light leading up to Friday, and I gotta say, there's a few things about that game that turned out true. So I did watch a couple of before you buys and things like that, and and I don't really let those sway me, and I try to see if I see what they're seeing, and and have an opinion on it. And it's like, I mean, they say you really shouldn't watch a review if you're gonna review something, but it's like, you know what, I really didn't care that much. So what I will say is gameplay, fantastic. If you like first person games, fantastic. Solid game. Like I said, I think I said this last week, kind of in the sense that it's pretty polished gameplay wise. Like no graphical bugs, barely. Like maybe one here, one barely graphical glitches. Barely any weird shit happening. Didn't see any pop in or pop ups. I'm playing on PC, by the way. One thing that I noticed, though, what I will say is, for if you have a ray tracing card that can do ray tracing, I play on a 1440p monitor and put that on everything as high as I could and put it on quality DLSS. And I gotta say, this is the worst example of DLSS I've ever seen. Like, it really softened the image to a point that I was like, I guess it had to really compromise a lot to get it to run like at a good frame rate on quality DLSS, because it was just not happening for me. It reminded me of a PlayStation game, like a console game. That's what it reminded me of, like, where you're not, like, it'll look good, but you're not getting that PC clarity. Like, that's the thing with playing games on PC, where when you max out the graphics, you get this clarity that you don't get on console, where it's like, yeah, it'll look good, the resolution will be decent, but then you can really see like the texture is really nice on PC compared to a game on console. And I'll get into that with Verizon, with Horizon. I know they got me. Hashtag not an ad. They I don't know. Like, I had it on max graphics, right? Because I wanted the highest frame rate with no ray tracing, and it looked incredible. I'm talking about I have a pretty powerful PC, and it ran it no ray tracing, max graphics, almost locked at 144 hertz. If it dipped, it was like 130. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't go below 100, but I don't think it ever went even below 125 in the frame rate department. I'm talking about a game where you running, jumping constantly, like changing.
Parkour.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're constantly changing your, where you're at. I will say, and this could be my hard drive, because I don't have it installed on an SSD, that when I first boot the game, the first 2 minutes of loading into where the area I'm in, it's a little jumpy. Like, it'll freeze and then freeze, and then I'll spin around a little bit and let like, you could tell just loading in still a little bit. But once and then if I open a door to go outside from because you normally spawn indoors somewhere, but once I go outside, it might do it one more time, but then that's it. Then it's solid after that. I'm talking about the first like 15 seconds. That's the only like real like I wouldn't even call it glitchy, just performance wise, that takes a little performance dip for a second. But I think that's just the hard drive doing that. But once it loads in, fantastic. But like I said, I wanted ray tracing as high as possible, so I tried that, put on quality, and like I said, I gotta say, a little weird how it softened the image a lot, especially that I had it on max, the max fidelity that I could put it at 1440, mind you, and it looked fantastic. I'm talking about, feels like a next gen game. Like, this feels like, like what Cyberpunk wanted to be, where it's like you see a lot of the effects and the lighting and the shadows, and like, even without ray tracing on, like, what they did was really nice. And so then I was like, man, I played like that for a few hours, and then I got kind of tired of the soft image, and I was like, man, I missed that nice crisp image I got. So all I did was lower the ray tracing just a little. Ray tracing is such a hog, of resources. And that's because I'm running like almost the best AMD CPU could run, and a 3080, and it's still like ray tracing is still just not there yet. Even at 1440p, I can't even imagine what 4K would have been like. Probably would have, because when I do it without DLSS, max ray tracing, max quality, everything with no DLSS, I'm getting like 30 plus FPS. So that's kind of like, the trade-off like the PlayStation does. I could get everything max with no DLSS, max ray tracing 30, but all I did was move down like one setting of ray tracing down, and I was getting like 70, 80 frames, which is enough for me. I wasn't obviously not 144, but that was enough for me. That's like, you're getting the best graphics, and I've been meaning to show you, Fefer. You really got to see what I'm talking about. Like, the game
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
fantastic. It already looks great at like a 1080p image if you want to see it on PlayStation like that. It still looks pretty good, but it looks fantastic. I think it's really up there with Cyberpunk was like the best looking game if you could get it to run well, and this I think beats Cyberpunk in my opinion with lighting.
Oh.
Obviously Cyberpunk is a different looking game. It has this, but it's a more city environment, so you're getting some cool looking things in Cyberpunk. But I'm talking about just the way it pops off the screen. I feel like it does a better job than that, and I think that's why it has so many optimization issues, similar to Cyberpunk, but not as bad. Obviously, that rather this is why it only runs at 1080p. No ray tracing on PlayStation 5 because it's an graphically intensive game. Fantastic. Now, graphics aside, though, what I will say is the story. I kept hearing the story was just mid and a little disjointed, blah blah. And I was like, man, they're crazy. This story is pretty good. I was enjoying it, and then it really does just break. There just comes this halfway point where you're just like, what the fuck happened? Like, it went from this, like all of a sudden, all the people you connected with, bonded with, like either die or you don't talk to them anymore, and it feels like in middle of production, they got some extra money and just wanted to put a Rosario Dawson in the game. Like when she shows up, that's where the story just completely changes, And I'm just like, what the fuck happened here? And I'm, it's still a fun game. Don't get me wrong, and it opens up a lot and different. Now the whole style of play actually changes a bit. Not the whole style, but you get a lot of added styles of play in the game. Where you're with things. I don't even want to say too much in case anybody's interested in playing this, but it kind of changes up. Where the game now plays a little bit. It's going to be playing a little bit differently because of the environment changes for you. And so because the environment changes, you have to play a little bit differently. And like I said, very slight. Like when I say different, I just mean like you can do more things you couldn't do in the first part of the game. But the story really just takes a kind of a left turn, and it kind of breaks away from the beginning part of the game. And then it's a very choice-based game, so you have like peacekeepers and survivors, and it just feels the way the story unfolds. It's like the peacekeepers seem like the bad guy. So when you do these clearing a base, you can give the electricity or the base to the peacekeeper or the survivors. It kind of feels like, damn, like, why do you want, like, you have to side with the bad guy. Like, they put them almost as the antagonist for a big chunk of the game, and then you have to help them, or you have to choose to help them if you want to unlock cool things. Like, if you want to unlock like traps and things around to help you fight off hordes, you want to help the peacekeepers. But if you want more traversal things, you want to help the survivors. But both have their pros and cons. Both give you new power-ups and new environmental things. Both give you environmental things. And so it's like, I don't know. I'm the type of person, I like making decisions in the game. If the guy's an asshole, I like to be the kind of the better guy usually. So it's like, in my brain, I'd want to say fuck you to the peacekeepers. I'm not gonna give them shit because I just did something and they seem like assholes. But I want those car bombs, or I want those cool things you can do. I want to be able to jump on a launcher and launch me into the air. Like, there's things that you want, and it's like, I don't know. That's kind of weird how they that decision that you have to help the bad guy. Well, like I said, they're not necessarily bad, but they just do kind of fucked up shit. Like in any post-apocalyptic, you know what I mean? They're
just testing your morals with the choices that you have to make.
Exactly. Like, do you want to help the assholes? Well, you get this kind of stuff, but if you help them, then you get this kind of stuff. So it's like, it's like it's a little bit weird. I mean, again, it's interesting. I'm not really like saying, oh, fuck this gamer in any. It's just weird design choices, and it could have been better. It could have been way better. Like what could have been easily like a 9 or a 10 game, drops down in my opinion to like a 8. For what it's getting. Like it's great, weird design choices, but definitely a must buy in my opinion. If you can stomach first person games, a must buy. If you're a huge fan of the first game though, and the first game like the back end, I hear this one falls very short of what the first game did. So, it's a 5-year.
It's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, it is. It is. For as pretty as it is and as solid as it is in the gameplay department, it is. I mean, that's what kind of makes up for it. The gameplay bits are amazing. It's fun. It
Mhm.
feels like I played Far Cry 6, right? And this kind of reminds me a bit of that, obviously because you're like, you're in an open world and you have all these tools and things you can do. Way more solid than that game. Like I actually enjoy, like, when I played Far Cry 6, I wanted to be in third person so bad. Like I kept feeling like, damn, this would be better in third. This game, I haven't felt like that not one time. I'm like, man, I wish I was in third person. It makes first person running, gliding. You could glide in Far Cry 6. I didn't care for it. It felt weird and phony and fake. I don't know. This game does everything better. You know what I mean? Like that's what I will say. That's what keeps the game at a fairly high score for me, is that it does everything, that it does a lot of first person stuff better than something like Far Cry or even Cyberpunk. Like I played a little bit of Cyberpunk because the update came out this week, and you can't play those games back to back. It feels really weird. Like I said, Dying Light's a much better first person game than Cyberpunk is, in my opinion. But they're different at the same time. But
Mhm.
the running
Mhm.
and the jumping and the certain things you do in Dying Light just felt so much better than the little bit of time I put into Cyberpunk this week. I was like, ugh. I'm sure I would get used to it again, but it's a little jarring,
Yeah, yeah, of course. Of course.
So, that's my little breakdown of Dying Light. I still have to finish it. I'll probably get around to it soon. But Horizon came out on Friday, and that
Yes.
I put up a tweet a few weeks ago saying like I don't like Horizon, whatever, and it was hard. I mean, it was hard to get through, and I finally like sucked it up and said, and it was my own fault. I'll admit, I put it on hard, and I was playing Demon Souls, and I was like, man, I want to play games on hard because it's just so it's such a reward, and that game was just the worst one to do that with. It did not feel good to play that game. The sound design, like, didn't feel good to hit monsters. The stealth didn't feel that great. Like everything on hard just made that game not fun for me. So when I put it back on normal and finished up the game. I got through it. Really enjoyed the story. I thought the story was very fascinating, whatnot. About who Aloy is and why that world came to be and what Zero Dawn is. You find out what Zero Dawn is, and all that, and whatnot. And so I really enjoyed that. So going into part 2, I was a little bit, I was ready, and I gotta say, it's miles better. Like it's everything that part 1 wanted to be, while like the gameplay wise it's very similar. I mean, very similar. You're playing essentially almost the same game. It feels like it's just finely tuned, you know what I mean? Very
Mhm.
finely tuned. Like
Mhm.
running feels good, jumping feels good, climbing feels so much better, hitting the sound design so much better. Like, jamming your spear into the metal of a monster feels fantastic. So all around much better game. um Graphically, it's nice. Again, if you play on PC, and go to a game like that, you see all the flaws of that game. Definitely better on 4K upscaling than it is on anything lower, because unfortunately these damn consoles don't downscale to a 1440p resolution if you run a 1440p monitor, which I play a lot of my games on, including PlayStation. So if I play it on my monitor, I'm playing at 1080p, and it doesn't super sample the games, which is very unfortunate that it doesn't super sample them. So it leaves you looking, it looks like a 1080p game, like it looks, you're getting some visual like blurriness, and it's a softer image. When you play it on 4K, and I'm playing on the OLED, oh, it pops. You still see the art, the little bit of flaws in the game compared to a PC game, but the everything else about the game, the engine, the Decima engine, they really did well with the mocap. Oh man, tell me that
It
mocap
looks really good.
isn't
It
like some of
looks
the best.
really
And we
good.
thought that
Mhm.
Death Stranding, and me and Fefer been talking about this because she just played Death Stranding, and tell me not, like you could tell that Kojima they took inspiration from what Kojima did with that
They
engine.
did.
They
They
have to
really
have.
did. They were taking notes. They saw him working with the with the Decima engine for Death Stranding. They're like, "Ooh, that sounds good. Note that down."
Exactly, like, oh, that little scan he does, we're gonna put that in the next game.
Yes, and scannies, little X's where you can't climb. Put those in too. Those are good. Those are important.
Exactly.
Very important. Very important. Very
Because in
important.
Death Stranding, when you scan, and if there's a mountain you can't like climb up with your feet, there's red axes, and they added that to Horizon.
Horizon.
And it's like, yo, you can tell, yo, it's so funny. Even the map, reminds me, and the way
Oh
you play
yeah.
out the map, because Death Stranding's literally about going west, from east to west in the United States, and that they
Hmm.
took the same exact idea of her going
They
from east
did.
to west, and it feels like the same map because it's the United States, so of course it's going to be a similar shape, and it's like that Kojima's onto something. Let's put that in Forbidden West. I, you
They
know,
should have. They should have asked him about that lighting though.
oh my God. Thank you for bringing that up.
That
Yo,
lighting.
that hero lighting is horrendous. If I,
I don't like it. It's very off-putting for again, for me personally, my opinions are my own. But like why does she have to be glowing like literally all the time? She'll be in the darkest dungeon in a cave and then she'll just be like, "Ah."
yeah, I hate
Like
it.
it's too much. And I'm sorry, but the hair is too floaty for me. Like, let's say she's standing there talking and this one braid on her shoulder is going shoop, 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 shoop while she's just talking, standing still. And it just bothers me. I'm sorry, it's too floaty. Like you see it hovering around
Yeah, yeah.
on like a rail on her shoulders or something. It's too much. And then she'll just look like that. And her whole head will go like that. And then she barely turns back, and then the whole thing goes like that. It's like she's always in a windy place. She's just like that all the time. And it's really bothering. It bothers me while I'm watching you play and you're talking to someone and it's just like all over the place. Like it's not that windy right there. Really, please. All the time.
Pepper ain't having it. Pepper ain't having it.
That's my rant. I'm sorry. Like
Maybe you just need a fan
it's
around you all the time, so when you talk to people, your hair's just.
like that's exactly what I need. Where's my fan? I just need
No, it's true.
hello.
It's true though. Especially that's a glitch though. Like that's part of the little glitches. So there is some discourse over the game because the fanboys don't let each other live any kind of anything that's not perfect. The fanboys ain't gonna let you live it down. So the Xbots are making sure to point out every little thing wrong with the game. And I'm surprised
As
they don't talk
they
about the
yeah.
lighting. They're talking about the popping and stuff and
I'm gonna go
performance,
tweet that out. We're gonna stir the pot.
right? So, like I said, overall, every like gameplay mechanically amazing, graphically, definitely a huge facelift over the first game. Huge facelift. Because like I said, I played that game just a few months ago, and not even a few months ago, like back in January, I finally completed the game, getting ready to play the sequel, and you can see it did age. It didn't age the best, you know. Like you can see that this was an early game. Obviously, these games take 4 years to make, so if you can tell they started that game like in 2017. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's
Hmm.
when it came out.
Oh yeah.
2013, 2014. You can tell like that's when the game started production, like very early tech. And now and the Stranding probably got to use the later version of the Decima tech and mocap. So yeah, the mocap is outstanding in this game. Like looking her face and watching people talk, it's like, oh my God, like just every little like emotion in their face is projected very well. And I gotta say, like that's where the graphical upgrade came from. More than anything, and then performance-wise, like I said, it runs pretty nice. I can't play in 30 FPS. I just cannot play in the lock. I wish they would like do what they did with the Pro. At least have it where like you're telling me that at 1080p I can't run it, at 60 FPS with super sampling. Like you couldn't do that. Come on, like I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a second. Or at least give me the PS4 looking graphics, if I want to play in 1080p and have it at, super sampled up a little bit. Cuz something tells me that if I play it on the Pro, it'll, well, I'm wondering, it might be locked on the Pro, but still, like I just can't stand that it's either 4K performance mode or fidelity mode. No, how about a lower res and a lower res mode? Like let me play 1080p
Hmm.
60 with a little bit more graphics turned on. Like you could, come on. Like they can totally do that. And it's like it's weird that they won't do that. And I feel bad for people with like something like a Series S because it's the same thing. Cyberpunk came out with an update and it's like there's no performance mode on the Series S, and I'm like, okay, granted, I get it. It's a graphically intensive game. They added ray tracing, but you're telling me and there's no ray tracing, mind you, on the Series S, but you can't give me 1080p. It gotta be 1440p. It can't be 1080p with a softer image and 60 FPS. Come on, it's bullshit. It's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's all
Yeah.
marketing, and I'm sure those are specifications that Microsoft is forcing, and I'm sure it's the same thing with PlayStation. These are specifications
Yes.
that they're forcing, where it's like, no, if it's gonna be 1080p, it's still gonna have it needs to look like XYZ or whatever. Like, there's just
Mm-hmm.
no. It's to me, it doesn't make any sense that it's gonna look exactly the same at 1080p and 4K. You know what I mean? Like you're telling me I don't get some of that power back, at
Mm-hmm.
1080p, so that I can run it in quality mode at a lower resolution. They should even give you
Mm-hmm.
the option for 720. Like, what if I just want the best detail at a low res? Give me that. Best detail with a lower res with a higher FPS. But they won't do those things. And it's like, that's the part of modern console gaming, or console gaming in general, that I don't like. You know what I mean? That's why PC will always reign supreme. And that's why things like the Steam Deck are going to be dope, because those are not going to go away. It's not proprietary. It's going to just be a handheld PC, which means that if I want to run a game that it shouldn't run, I can run it at 480p low settings, and so if I want to hit a certain frame rate, and I may not care. Some games don't really need that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's like, so that's that's just a rant about console gaming in general. But overall, like I said, the best way to experience, I'm realizing the best way to experience console gaming to date right now is on a 4K TV, because that's where you're gonna get the best looking
Mm-hmm.
image. Playing it on anything lower than 4K, you're just gonna get a 1080p image, and it just does not look that great. And that's like I said, that's unfortunate. But other than that, voice acting, very good. Aloy's still annoying, which the fact that she says to self narrate every fucking little thing, and she talks, what's going on? Oh, like she feels like she just seems like such a miserable fucking person. I just don't care for her as a character, but the world around her and the world that's unlocking it's very similar to part one, but I feel like, again, the acting has gotten much better. It's way more interesting to listen to the things that they're talking about, and the side quests. The side quests, so far, I'm still early game. I'm not that deep into the game because I've gotten stuck on the side quests. But the fact that they interweave the side quests with the main story, I have to say, is pretty peak side quest design. Like put it like this: like, there's a guy that you meet that's running a town, and you meet him through the main story, and you find out that that he's kind of a dirtbag or whatever, but that's it. You deal with him a little bit for the main story, and the story continues. But there's side quests around the village, and some guy says, "Oh, I want you to figure out something about this guy, or whatever." And you can actually find out how much of a dirtbag he is on your own. Like, you don't have to do this, but I went and picked up a side quest, and it deals with him and the shit that he's up to, and you end up kicking him out. And I'm like, holy shit, like, that's awesome. Like, that got introduced in the main story, and the side quest really fleshed that out. It fleshed out that part of the story. And then I did that multiple times, where I'm like, and then they're fully voice acted, fully cinematic. Like, they put work into those side quests, which, again, very optional. You do get lots of skill points for doing them, so you're highly rewarded for doing side quests. Unlike some games where you just get a little bit of experience, you're very rewarded for doing side quests, whether it's a new weapon or just 2-3 skill points sometimes. And the bigger the side quest, the bigger the rewards. And because I did a long side quest and I got like 3 skill points, I was like, holy crap. So they're just throwing out them skill points. You did a side quest, here, take some skill points with you, level that baby up. And I gotta say, that is probably what's gonna make this game, like, that's what's making this game like top tier. Like, fuck graphics, forget about that. The design, it's a very well designed. You could tell they learned a lot from the first game. They learned a lot over the years. So Horizon, so far, again, I haven't finished it, but it's getting 9s and 10s everywhere. And I gotta say, unless you absolutely hated the first game, and even if you did hate the first game, I still say give this game a chance, because it does so much right. And like I said, the sound design and the world design, like I said, the quest design or whatever, plus all the new things that you get, the way it tells you how to use those things is a little bit better in my opinion. And fighting the monsters is just way more fun than it ever was in the first game. So definitely
Mm-hmm.
a must try in my opinion. Like, even if unless you absolutely like just could not stand the first game, this game does a way better job of sucking you into the world. So that's that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, I might have to go and revisit that because I played it. I beat like the first boss monster thing that went into the camp and was destroying stuff in that like tiny little space.
Right.
And I unlocked fast travel and everything, and I went all the way to like the bottom of the map, and then I just kind of fell off. I don't really have a specific reason as to why I stopped. There wasn't anything that I didn't like. It might have just been just a lot of work in it, and I just eh. Eh.
Yeah.
Eh.
Exactly. And you kind of watched the opening and kind of you watched the recap with me, and that's as much as you need to know. Honestly, I feel like
Yeah.
for anybody, I would recommend, unless you like, I mean, it wouldn't even be that bad to go back to it. You know, if you're one of those people that can handle playing a newer version of a game and going back and seeing what happens how things unfolded in the first game, it's like, it's okay. It's not like the first game was bad. It's just that this game improves upon the second game improves a lot upon what the shortcomings of the first game. So, it's honestly, it's like, unless you have the time, I just say, yeah, definitely jump into Horizon. Even if you never beat the first, watch a recap, watch a YouTube movie, or just watch the recap that it gives you. Whatnot. But yeah, that's enough. We can move on to some video game news that happened this week. Starting with Horizon. Nah,
Yay.
so one of the things with Horizon was that you could there was a whole outcry because you had to buy the special edition to get the PS4 version of the game. If you wanted to free upgrade to PS5, you had to get the special edition. So there was an outcry, which I don't know. I feel like this was a psyop in a sense, because after the outcry, they were like, all right, fine, you get a free upgrade, but all future games moving forward will be a $10 upgrade. I think that was just them solidifying the $10
Yeah.
upgrade. I think it was kind of up in the air and it wasn't really happening with every single game, but they had already done that with, I feel like, a different game. There were other games that had a $10 upgrade, and for some reason they made this they got weird with Horizon. So they said, you know what, we're going to give you a free upgrade for this one. And so, but what ended up happening anyway is that you couldn't buy the game for PS4 on the PS5. So if you went to the PS5 store, you could only buy the $70 version. And a lot of people don't know, they're not advertising it as a $60 game or anything like that. I just feel like they should just lower the price. Like, hey, this will be the last $60 game you're gonna get, and that's it. But whatever. And so I'm looking here, and apparently like 78 or 68% of people bought. Pretty much 70% of people bought the $70 upgrade, the $70 game instead of the $60 game. And I just thought that was like interesting. Fucking PlayStation. Like, this is where they kind of, they get stupid, and it's just like, just fucking give people the free upgrade. Like, why are you being little bitches about it? But I get it. They want to sell the $70 versions of games and or whatnot, and and that's pretty much it. They want to make that $10 to anybody coming over to the PS5, which again I think is fucking dumb, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, it's just so stupid. But they need those little $10 or whatever, and so it's turning out that more people actually they ended up getting what they wanted for the most part. I bought the $6. I don't give a fuck. I said I'm doing my free upgrade, and the way they get you, with that anyway, is that you're not allowed to buy the upgrade till midnight. So you can't preload. You can't buy the PS4 version, upgrade to PS5, and then preload. No, you have to wait till midnight. Then you could install the game. Like, buy the $10 upgrade, or and I think they do it with $10 upgrades too. But because Ghost of Tsushima was $10 was a $10 upgrade, so was Death Stranding. So that's why I'm like, why'd y'all do all this? Like, why not say, oh, all games moving forward? Why not even just give the $10 upgrade? Like, in general, I don't know. I guess it was a game too big to lose sales on. So that's what I think they did.
Yeah, they wanted to make as much as they could. Of course.
No, I think they wanted to see if they could get away with forcing you to buy the special edition to get the upgrade. That's what they were testing, and it failed. So they said, fine. Well, in that case. All games moving forward will be a $10 upgrade. Like, all right, like, why y'all playing games anyway?
Exactly.
But I'm gonna move this one up here. So, and then what else we have? So Cyberpunk had a 1.5 update came out this week, which is the next gen upgrade for the PlayStation and Xbox Series X. I thought that was pretty cool. There was a lot of quality of life. They fixed the cars, they fixed the AI and the traffic, and to me, that's the highlight. I don't care about frame rate and what they fixed, how they fixed the console editions. The reason it ran fine on PC for me. So what I cared about um was the AI, and that to me is the news here. That now if you stood in the middle of the street, a car would just legit just hit you. It would just hit you. It wouldn't slow down. You would just get hit. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm standing there. You've seen that. I'm standing there. Also, just like,
Yes.
I'm just like, yo, really? You shoot a gun, everyone just kind of kneeled in place or didn't do anything. You'd punch, like, nothing would happen in the game. It was just a weird, like, the AI was just so dumb. I hated playing it. Just looking at the AI do dumb shit kind of annoyed me. So I was like, I'm gonna wait till they fix this, if ever. And they finally did. So it's definitely a game I want to revisit. I thought the story and gameplay was good enough. Apparently, they fixed the gunplay, they fixed the driving. The driving does feel better. I did try that out, and yeah, if you have it on console, that next gen console, definitely get that upgrade. If you have it on PC and you're waiting to play it, or if you don't own the game yet, I recommend getting on PC if you can. But it does look pretty decent, even though ray tracing is kind of a joke, and I just wish they would just give you a non-ray trace. They just need to have a ray tracing off mode where, the game can run as good as possible with no ray
Mm-hmm.
tracing. Because in this day and age, with no ray tracing, everything should be running at 4K 60 locked on PlayStation and Series X. And the fact that they're
Yes,
forcing
definitely.
the console to use up its resources with ray tracing is the stupidest shit in the world to me. But whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little side note.
I
I
know
did read an.
until
Uh huh.
until they can optimize it the best, and
Well, that's what
they
I was gonna
should get
say.
get get a switch off or on or whatever for that option.
I
Yeah.
read an article the other day that apparently I forget what the company's name was, but apparently there is apparently a new tech that's coming out that's gonna fix a lot of the lighting issues. That it's a new lighting tech that can just be implemented on current hardware. That's gonna stop the resources, hog of ray tracing. So
Oh,
apparently it's supposed to like take minimal resources and still give you the best ray tracing experience. So
okay.
hopefully, as more and more games come out, as tech gets better, as people learn how to use ray tracing a little bit better, we'll see 4K locked 60 games. Because honestly, games were coming out at 720p when the PlayStation launched. There was games. Xbox had like a couple of 720 games, and there was a few games that were not running at 1080p when the consoles launched. They were like either running 900p or something like that. So there were a few games that like you could tell that the devs couldn't optimize yet for the OG PlayStation 4 when it dropped. So, I have hope that once tech updates and we can use more intensive effects, on lower end hardware, we'll see those games that like really come in at a lock 60, 4K 60, but it's just not there yet, and that's unfortunate. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of annoying, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But why don't there was you have an article there right before I continue with some of the stuff that I got here. What are some things you have on your list?
Oh yeah. Supermassive Games,
Oh,
our wonderful creator of the Dark Pictures anthology. They're working on something that's not part of the Dark Pictures anthology. They just trademarked something called the Quarry. What is
oh,
it? I don't know. They just trademarked it. That's really as far as I know. It's
oh,
called The Quarry, and it's not Dark Pictures Anthology. And also, side note on to that, they did also register 5 logos for the next ones because they're finishing up the first season now with what's this name? Last one, the
I forget.
oh, I forgot the name of the last one for the season. But they're working on obviously working on the rest of them. They got the logos for the next 5, and also the Quarry, which I'm very curious because if they're gonna
The
do
Devil in
something,
Me.
maybe the devil in me. Yes, yes. I actually just watched the trailer for that earlier today because I was just like, oh, that's hype. I just can't wait for it because then that's coming around October, November-ish. Um,
Yes, and I can't wait to
so
play that together because we've been on
yes.
a roll playing these games together. So
Heck yeah, we have. So I'm looking forward to that, and I want to see what the hell the quarry is about, and um, maybe, most likely, another maybe horror thriller choice based kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. But
Hell
I'm looking
yeah.
forward to that. Yeah.
What else you got?
That was really it. Is those two are pretty much all together. What else do I have?
Oh, okay. Um,
Oh,
yeah.
I see what I have.
Street Fighter 6? Eh? Eh? Are you
No.
excited? Eh?
Boo.
You're not excited for Street Fighter 6?
Boo.
You don't love that logo? That amazing Street Fighter logo?
I could have made that. Wait, can I take credit for that? I made it.
I
Yay.
think you'd make something better than that. That shit looked like some basic ass, like, oh, that shit is horrible, man. It looks like a Cooler
Yeah,
Master
no.
logo or something, you know? Like, it just looks horrible.
That's exactly what it looks like.
I don't know what they were thinking with that shit. Like, come on, Capcom, y'all do so well. They do so well with Monster Hunter, Resident Evil. You know, it's like all of a sudden Street Fighter 6, and then you did a week long countdown.
Yeah, that was extremely disappointing because I remember when you mentioned it last week, you're like, there's a countdown on the Capcom website. And I'm like, ooh, what are they going to announce? And then we remembered last night and I'm like, sent you the link. We're like, okay, an hour left. And then come to find out, shh, Street Fighter 6. You did all that for Street Fighter 6? Like, this is expected. Why are you doing this whole big reveal thing for,
And
like,
then to show
really?
nothing, to say Street Fighter 6, more details in the summer. Like, really? In the fucking summer? You know what it is? If I had to take a guess, you know what it is? It's the end of the fiscal year. The fiscal year is coming up for a lot of these studios in March,
Makes
and
sense.
this is just to boost their stock prices. You know, so
Yeah.
a lot of companies are coming out. We're still working on this. We're still working on that. This is still coming out. You know, they've all been doing that these last few weeks. So to me, it's more to the investors. Like, hey, guess what? Street Fighter 6 is coming. That's it.
I
That's what
probably
that
also
is.
feeling it out to see the reaction from everybody too.
I mean, you're right. You're right. Obviously, they want to create a
That's
buzz, but
part
it's
of it.
so
Yeah.
far away, like so far all the way
Yeah.
in fucking summertime. Like, not like more details in, you know, in a week. Like, no, it's no gameplay, no nothing. And it's like, come on. Like, all that, you didn't need to do that for Street Fighter. You didn't have to do
Yeah.
for Street Fighter. Yes, I'm happy. You know, I love to see that they're still coming out with games. A lot of us don't care about didn't care about Street Fighter Five, you know, especially that it launched in a half-made state, which I'm sure they won't do a repeat of. And you know, they put legacy characters behind a paywall, which is ridiculous.
Yes. That is the worst.
Yeah, we're talking about a lot. You know, as me and you were talking about last night. Like, come on, the legacy characters should never be behind the paywall for any fighting game. If you've been around since the '90s, your starting lineup should not be behind a paywall. It's like Mortal Kombat coming out and Sub Zero and Scorpion aren't available. It's like, come on, those are
Mm-hmm.
your main six should be there. And in their case, the main I think it was also six. You know, it was like what Ken and Ryu, Chung Li, Guile, E Honda, and Zangief. You know what I mean? So it's just that they those guys and like I said, I think it should go up to at least the special champion or Street Fighter 2 Turbo, where you got, you know, Balrog, Vega, and we're able to play with them Bison and Sagat. Like, you know, like that. Those should be your mainstays. And if you know, and
Mm-hmm.
if you really want to be even a tiny bit, I feel like the whole Street Fighter 2 lineup should, like Super Street Fighter, you know, 2, um should be included. You know what I mean? Not behind a paywall. Moving after that, fine, maybe. And even then, it's like, you know, like you shouldn't get that crazy. But if you don't want to do things that came out in alpha, whatever, even that you're kind of pushing it because those are still games from the '90s. It's like Dan
Mm-hmm.
and a few others. that I'm not gonna try to remember right now. I feel like those should all be like your starting lineup. But if like, there's no reason. There's such a huge cast of characters from over the years, but your starting 12 should always be those people plus a few more. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
or if they're gonna come later, they should always be free. Why you should never make people pay for them things. It should just be free. If you don't want to include Blanca day one, then it should be a free update, later on. Then, like, if you have to tweak it or balance him
Exactly.
or whatever the hell you need to do, like that you don't launch him on launch day, like then it should be. I feel like I said, I feel like the Super Street Fighter 2 lineup should always be a given. It should always be a given. It should never be removed or
Mhm.
taken out. And if they aren't gonna be the starting lineup because you want people to try the new characters out, then they should always be that free DLC later. And that's where you can get your points. Like, oh look, guys, we're giving you free characters. Like, like you can play it off like you're doing, like you give a shit. When we all know you don't. You're just fucking money hungry bastards when it
Clearly.
comes to Capcom. When it comes to Capcom, when it comes to Street Fighter.
Yes.
But
Yes, exactly.
but
I can agree
yeah.
with that. Yeah, because then how are you supposed to try to play this new game and then all your old favorites or anything that just kind of brings you back and reminds you of Street Fighter, and you got to buy them?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-mm.
It's ridiculous.
No,
It's
that's
just a
no go.
cash grab, and they all do that. They all do that because I think when Dead or Alive, was it Dead or Alive? Oh no, when Soul Calibur 6 finally came out, they did the same thing. Legacy characters behind the
That's right.
paywall, and it's like, why are you doing that? Like, just give everybody the starting lineup, or characters from 20 years ago. It's like, why
Mhm.
are you removing characters that have been in the games for free, in past games, and now also, oh, we're gonna charge you for this because we're just assholes. Like, come
Mhm.
on. I get you
Like,
want
you
to
know
sell
you like
DLC.
this. And here you
It's
go.
like, I know you want to convince people to buy your DLC, but it's like, if have a better strategy. If you really think people won't buy it because their favorite characters already in a DLC, then it's like you need to find a better way to sell it. Then you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
maybe have a rotation or something, and and let people try them out. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to. I'm not the business person here, but locking legacy characters just ain't it. You're just alienating, would be purchaser of certain games, or they're just gonna wait for a fucking sale and buy it later.
Mhm.
But
Exactly.
hey, whatever.
Guess we'll
Um,
wait for that. We'll wait for more information in the summer.
exactly. Um, what else?
Do you know what game does have more information out, is coming out this year, and currently has a demo out in the Steam Next Fest?
What's that?
Make Pixel 3.
McPixel.
So Devolver Digital just announced a few days ago. Yeah, a few days ago. Make Pixel 3. If you don't know what McPixel is,
You
you
haven't been
have
to
to go
Fefer
find
Streams.
out. Yes, I haven't been to Pfeffer Streams because I play it from time to time. And you need to find out. It's chaos, it's wild, it's McPixel.
It's
It's a
super
point and click.
pixelated.
It's super pixelated, yes. And I think if I'm not mistaken, McPixel is currently on sale too on Steam. Yeah, it's $1 right now on Steam. So the original McPixel came out in what, like 2012,
Yeah, something like that.
and you're trying to save the world. So there's, or not really, but you have different situations you're put into. There's a bomb in the scenario, and you have to point to, it's a point and click. So you click on the different items that you can click on and to see the different situations. There's one way to defuse the bomb or get rid of it somehow,
Mm-hmm.
and there are a few other ways that you just completely blow yourself up, kick someone in the balls, or whatever the case. And all of it's, again, chaotic. It's a hilarious game in my opinion, and you just get so curious with how wacky and out of this world everything, all the choices that you can make happen,
Right.
that you just want to platinum it. You want to platinum it by finding all the different ways you can blow yourself up. And now the trilogy is complete with McPixel 3. Don't ask me about McPixel 2. It's not. Mm-mm. But it's great because Sosazowski, I hadn't heard about anything from him in a while, and I had seen him get interviewed on a podcast maybe half a year ago or so. And I'm like, "Oh, cool. It's Sauce." And And come to find out, months later, now we hear about this whole. It was a whole big thing too, because on Devolver's Twitch channel, they had a whole hype machine, and then you had to go into their chat and type the word hype, and then these hype bars, it would be like 100 hypes at a time. It would fill up a bar, and then if it gave you a hint, there were 70 hints, and then once those 70 hints, and the last one you had to get 1,000. And so everybody at the last like hour was just like typing hype, 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 hype until McPixel 3. Games already kind of had a feeling it was McPixel 3 or the next
Yeah,
McPixel.
McPixel, yeah. Because, yeah, the
And
graphics, yeah.
yeah, no, exactly. And I was just like, is it? I didn't want to just be like, yeah, it's McPixel, because then who knows, because because South had, I mean, he came out with what's Mosh Pit Simulator.
Right.
I don't know what he was up to. You can never really guess what he's gonna do. And yeah, you can check out the demo. It's gonna be great. I can't wait. I haven't tried the demo yet. I don't know if I want to spoil it for myself or if I want to wait, but I'm probably gonna play the demo because I need to see.
And he does silly shit, so I have a feeling
He
like
does
the
lots of
demo
silly
might
shit.
just be like do something silly specifically for the demo, so I could see that.
Uh-huh.
But I
And
think
what's really cool, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, because in the trailer for McPixel 3, it shows it's not just a straight point and click. There were some other different scenarios, like a little adventuring that you do in the game. So he's doing something different in McPixel 3 now. You're probably gonna do a similar thing, because it's save the day adventure, McPixel 3. So you're saving the
Mm.
day still, so you probably do have to do the point and click for the bomb, but you're going somewhere. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
yeah. No, it's really interesting because, like you said, from we, I watched that interview along with you, and it was really cool hearing how, like, he comes from Poland, or he lives in
Yes.
Poland.
Mhm,
He
mhm.
grew up, didn't have a lot of money, but his family somehow got a hold of a Commodore 64, which is an old
Yes.
timey computer. But it did have it was one of the easiest easiest computers to develop on and learn how to code on.
Yes.
And so hearing that he, and it's funny because I thought that he got his start there and started making PC games, but apparently he still makes Commodore 64 games for fun. And and yeah, I just thought it was cool, like going from a random little, and we bought McPixel randomly. Like, nobody
Yes.
knows who this. He's a one man studio. Nobody really knows about McPixel. A lot of people, found it crazy looking at your streams, and so to see this random game, we bought this game in 2013, 9 years ago. We bought this game,
Yes.
and I remember you playing the shit out of it, and so, the fact that you've known about it, known about this little developer that just his goal is to make the worst games ever, and all of a sudden now he's working with one of the biggest indie publishers out there, Devolver. It says a lot, and
Yes.
Devolver, I feel like, has a really good eye for games that are gonna gain traction.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yes, definitely. I think it's great because Sauce is so he's so low key about everything.
Hmm.
Heck, I was just reading, I was just telling you about, he was holding the 0 hour game jam, and then he was telling off some news outlets because he didn't want to make like this whole big deal about it, and he's even announcing it like he announced it like super late, just to like, for the heck of it. He didn't want it to gain like major traction. He's adding curse words in the website, to in a sense turn off that super big mainstream action from coming to it, because again, he's just really low key. He is more about creating something that you enjoy creating and have fun with it,
Right.
than really going all out and getting all that public attraction. Like, heck, he just like, I joined his Discord, and he's kind of going with the flow right now, since he just joined the Devolver team, and they're helping him figure out Discord. And he's still kind of up in the air with Discord himself, but I think it's really cool because it's where he's come from and where he's coming to now. And I mean, hopefully, maybe starting with MixPixel 3, he can go on to make something different and bigger or something.
Yeah, that'd be
If he
awesome.
doesn't, I mean, if he chooses to, of course, I'm sure he's gonna have the fun with it because it's Devolver pushing him along,
And they're fucking fools at Devolver, like.
Exactly. They're all about having fun and freaking cursing and everything like that. I
Hmm.
can't wait.
Exactly. I think that's
It's the
what's like
beginning of
so
a
funny
beautiful
about it.
friendship.
What you said? Say it again.
This is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Exactly. Oh man. Um, what you call it? No, that's great. That's great. I was really happy for it. Was really interesting, seeing that and seeing just like pretty much like the underdog, the little guy, coming
Yes.
along. And like I said, like I don't even know how I bumped into that game all those years ago. It's just so random, and
Yeah.
it was meant to be. It was cool, and so
Yeah.
I'm really, I don't know. I like stuff like that. I like, like I said, we're like McPixel hipsters,
We are. I know. We were totally fangirling or fan.
Yeah, fangirling.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, fangirling. Yeah, we were totally fangirling the other day when he was responding to our tweets and everything like that. We
Exactly.
were just
That's
like,
what's
"Oh my
cool.
god, he's so awesome!"
I know when he responded to my tweet, I was like, oh shit! Like I was in the middle of work when that shit happened. I was like, oh crap.
I
Oh
know it's
man.
awesome.
But
Yes.
yes. So congrats to Sauce.
Like
Um.
yes.
So yeah, I mean, we don't have a whole lot of stories left. Final Fantasy 14 for because I know all you love to hear about Final Fantasy 14. Hear
I
me
do. I do.
fangirl about that. Um, they just announced their 10-year roadmap. There's a lot coming. There's gonna be graphical upgrades. So it's finally getting a facelift by 7.0. So, shadows and level of detail is gonna be upgraded. It's not gonna be anything that something like a PlayStation can't handle. So, but it's gonna have a nice facelift apparently. So a lot of characters, armor and gear and materials are gonna look much better than they used to, than they currently do. And I'm excited for that because if you look closely at their gear, it can be very low res, and you see
Yes.
that they use a lot of tricks and a lot of low res assets in the game, and apparently they're switching all of that to high res assets. So that was probably the biggest takeaway from that. They're making their eventually over time are going to make their entire uh main story um single player, put have a single player option pretty much. So if you want to play the game, everyone says, oh, I played all the Final Fantasy except for 11 and 14. They want to stop that, which I find kind of interesting. On the one side it can sound scary, like, but it's an MMO. You're taking away the ability to play. I mean, people are going to choose to play alone, but there's plenty of people who don't want to play with other players. And so they have what's called a trust system where you play with NPCs, which have been implemented in the last two expansions that have dropped. Plus, it's something that they
Hmm.
already were toying around with from a very much earlier, I think, since Heaven's Sword, or maybe Stormblood, where you trained your NPCs to come with you on things. I wish they would have expanded on that, because the whole
That
training
would have
them,
been. Yeah, that would have been
yeah,
really great.
it gave you a reason to do it. It gave you a reason to run the dungeons alone. So having your trust and having your NPCs run with you, even if they're faceless, whatever, to the main story. I thought that was a really cool thing, and maybe they will expand on that. Maybe this is their way. They'll bring that. But yep, if you want to play the game from the first fifth level 16 dungeon all the way to whatever the expansion is, you're going to be able to play completely alone. You don't have to talk or see anybody. And I think it's a great way to practice a job. You want to practice a job and see how it is in a party situation? There you go. You want to be a healer? You can practice that now. And they're going to make some of the more annoying duties that people didn't like to run anymore. They're toning a few of those down. So Praetorium and Cash Meridian are not going to be 4-player instances, and Cape Westwind now will be a solo instance. So it's adding more, what they said, gravitas to that Cape Westwind fight, which has become a meme at this point. Like, everybody tricks the new guys by saying, "Oh my god, it's the hardest fight ever," and then we get through it in like less than a minute, or like less than 2 minutes. So there's a lot of big changes coming to the game. It's definitely a lot more user friendly, and if you're tired of hearing about how great the story is, well, now but you don't want to play an MMO, well, now there'll literally be no excuse besides financial reasons. Like, you don't want to pay the monthly sub, which again is very much worth it because of all the stuff. You get so much content in that I could literally play that. I still haven't done everything in that game. I could probably play that game
Yes.
for the next year, and it would still take me forever to do everything there is to do, because even if you do all the activities, there's still jobs to level up. You know what I mean? There's crafting, there's things to craft. There's PvP that you can do every week. There's
Hmm.
tons of shit that in that game. It's crazy. There's so much to do, and I'm looking forward to it. Even fishing is like really in depth. So um, there's a lot coming, and yeah, Final Fantasy for the next 10 year 14. Yep, that 10-year plan is sounding pretty interesting right now. So definitely looking forward
Heck
to
yes.
that. And yeah, um,
Hey, I can't wait for that graphical update though,
yeah,
because it's not like even the armor, you don't really notice it.
it's true. It's true.
But like if you're really, I don't know, people like to take pictures of their stuff, of their characters and stuff like that. And sometimes I like to change my view and I go to get a little closer and then it's just like, this is never mind. I'm gonna put it back. I don't want to be this close to my character because it's just all blocky in some
Yeah, you
cases.
see like the
And
blurriness.
we can't forget Grape Gate, right? So I'm sure this also kind of pushed. I'm sure it was already in the works, but they, I'm sure that
Yeah,
pushed them over, and it's I don't know. It's a little. It's been something long awaited. I'm sure,
yeah.
because it's already as it is a beautiful game, and to make this improvement is going to make it. I don't know. It's just going to add a. I call it the bells and whistles for me, but I think it's going to be awesome.
No, no, you're absolutely right.
Freaking
And I
pretty.
think I think that's what's exciting. I think pretty much Valheim is the game that really showed us that
Yes.
you can have a low res, low poly game, and but the lighting and weather systems can really change the feel of a game. And I gotta say,
Mhm.
like the sunsets and and the way the different areas are lit by fire or sunlight or whatever really adds atmosphere to such a low polygonal game. And so
Yes.
if the fact that this game already has a fairly high poly count already looks good for what it is. It is looking a little dated, obviously, but still looks pretty damn good for a dated game. The fact that it's gonna have modern lighting added to it is pretty much like all they really need to do, but it's gonna be modern lighting and higher res textures. I can't wait for that because, like I said, now some of
Mhm.
that armor is gonna look fucking fantastic. You know what I mean?
I
It's
know, and
a
imagine the glowing armor too, the weapons and stuff like that.
Exactly. Or and then metal's gonna shine more. So imagine you in a sunlight or you standing next
Ooh.
to certain light, that and the way it's gonna bounce off your armor now. Like that's fantastic. Like that's gonna add a whole level of detail to the game that I'm sure it's gonna be like really take the game to the next level as far for
Mhm.
eye can speaking in terms of eye candy. Like I'm excited
Yes.
for that. Like
Oh
there was a
yes.
lot more to it. In that in the live letter that happened this week, there's a lot of little lore bits. Apparently, the moons and other shards mean something, and
Hmm.
Zodiac might not necessarily be dead apparently, and there's a lot. There's a lot. Yup.
Oh yeah.
So the story is pretty crazy, and um yeah, and then we're getting the brand new storyline in 6.1. So I'm excited for that too. Like I can't wait that it has nothing to do with Endwalker ended. That's it. We finished the 10-year storyline, and now the next 10-year storyline is gonna be beginning. And I hope it's chunky, man. I'm hoping since it's gonna be a whole separate. I'm hoping 6.1 is like a nice meaty storyline. And the fact that we're
Mhm.
getting Hildy
Mhm.
back is that's probably gonna pull me back in.
Yes, Hildy.
Yep.
Yay.
And like I always tell people, if you haven't played that game, I get it. You don't play MMOs, but early dungeons are very easy to play with other people. Learning your job is easier than it's ever been.
Mhm.
And the story,
Mhm.
and the gameplay is just fun. And I say, come, try out the gameplay. And again, like they always say, you can play completely free up to levels up to through the first expansion all the way through the end. And for as long as you want, and if you want to
Mhm.
continue, and then you have to pay. And even if you stop there, it's even that's worth it because Heaven Sword is still one of their best expansions to date. Even if every other expansion has been amazing to me, Heaven Sword is still it really holds up. All these 7 years later, still holds up. Against the newest and latest expansions.
Mhm.
So and I mean that on on a quality, like the latest expansion is the best to date, and it's not like it makes Heaven Sword look like trash. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
Heaven Sword is still one of their greatest achievements in that game, and even if Shadowbringers and Endwalker have outshined it, it's like it's still a great expansion. So
Mhm.
definitely worth I'm always going to say it's definitely worth a try, and I recommend anybody try that game. Even if you're not into those types of games, just give it a shot. It's free. You have nothing to lose, so it's really no excuse.
Yeah.
It's just if you don't have the time, I get it, but it's definitely a nice adventure game to try to get through,
Mhm.
and you may just stick with it, because honestly, after we finish Endwalker, I haven't played. It's like there's too many other games to play. I'm like I play,
I
so I
know.
treat it like a regular game. I play it. I play through the story, and whenever a new story drops, I come back for the story because it's just the writing is incredible. The music is incredible. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't think we had a main topic about anything this week. The news was enough. Some couple of reviews. Was there anything that you want to mention or talk about before we start wrapping up?
Oh, I guess I just kind of briefly mentioned it, but the Steam Next Fest is on this week from the 21st to the 28th.
Woo, Steam Deck.
So
Um, I can't wait. That
Steam Deck.
Steam Deck, that I guess I can rant a little bit about that because that is gonna be. I'm telling you, the shipments are supposed to start by the end of the week, so
Oh, that's right.
I don't think we're in that first round, right?
I don't know now.
But
Can we check that somewhere? I'll have to look and
yeah,
see. We'll have to take a look and see. But I didn't realize how soon. It's been time kind of flew, I guess, huh?
yeah, yeah, because it's like, yep, it was supposed to launch in February. Oh man. Oh, okay, mine, yeah, quarter 2. So I'm not getting mine till at least April. No, yeah, April. That's from the beginning of quarter 2. So April's probably the soonest I'll get it. What's yours? Yours would probably be
I don't know where to look for that. Where did you see that?
oh, go to Steam store.steampower.com/Steam Deck. And then you can see your when you log in, it'll show you what you ordered, what you pre-ordered, and expected availability.
Quarter 1.
Oh shit. That's mine.
You can't touch mine.
Oh, that's mine.
You can't touch
I'm
mine.
living on
Can't touch
yours.
this. You can't touch this.
Do that again. Can I touch your deck?
Hey, you stay away from my deck, okay?
I want to touch it. Oh. Laugh it
Oh,
up.
the hype is real. I'm not laughing at
Laughing
you.
it
I'm
up,
just
laugh it up,
excited.
fuzzball.
I'm just excited.
That's awesome. I don't care. As long as we have one in our possession, I don't give a shit. I really don't give a shit. I just want one in our possession. And if
No, we're totally gonna test the hell out of it. We're gonna. Oh my god,
oh my god.
they're excited too.
I know. Motorcycle just
Steam
passed.
Deck.
I know. Oh man, no, that
I didn't realize that.
oh, that's super hype. All right, no, that's cool. Oh man, imagine you get it before our flight. Oh man, I can't wait for that monster of a console though. Oh
Oh,
man,
I'm giddy.
I'm telling you, people don't. They're doing all kinds of tech breakdowns, and I'm telling you, Linus Tech Tips went over it. Oh man, and I feel like he would have been. He gives fairly honest reviews, and he says it, and it seems like that. Yeah, he said the power in it so far has been exceeded expectations. The games running on it are again exceeding expectations. They look fantastic. I mean, it's a 720 screen. So it's like running. This thing is going to be able to run a lot of games. Again, I'm sure at low to medium settings, but that doesn't matter because to me, it's going to be a great sidekick to your gaming PC because I like to play my games in on the couch, on the in bed, especially in bed. If I want to get a couple more rounds in, or a couple more things in of a game, like I've been doing that with remote play anyway. So being able to not have to rely on remote play and play games natively, even if I take a graphical hit, I don't care as that because the being able to transfer my saves between devices seamlessly is going to be the best thing about that thing. You want to get in a couple of more chivalry matches, before bed. You can do that and and go to sleep. And yeah, I'm talking about you. And you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be dope. But yeah, I don't know. I don't care what anybody says. I think is gonna take off more than people realize. And I already said this, and Linus said the same thing. One of the biggest YouTubers on YouTube when it comes to like tech, and He said the modding community is gonna probably have a field day with this.
They're gonna go wild.
Making games run on it, tweaking it, and modding it, so you're gonna have them watch. I'm sure the challenge is gonna be having Cyberpunk run at 60 FPS on the Steam Deck. I'm sure that's gonna be part of it. Will you get ray tracing? Hell no. Are you gonna get the best graphic fidelity? Hell no. But you're gonna get games that can normally only run on a PC or a console or even the Switch. Only or just only straight PC games on the go, in your pocket. Not really your pocket, but in your backpack.
Yeah.
That's not a freaking laptop, and just be able to whip it out, play a few games, and then transfer it over to your PC. I'm excited. And then Monster Hunter Rises already exists, which was a Switch game. So now I'm gonna get the better version, with the same portability, without having to take.
Play.
Huh?
I can play all my indie games that I have in my Steam library that I did not feel like paying an extra $20 for on the Switch because it's more expensive on the Switch.
Exactly.
And I already have it on my Steam library, and I can take that to go.
Exactly.
Instead of having I have this. We have this.
The Razer Kishi, yeah.
Yeah, but it's. I don't know. It's a pain in the butt sometimes just to have it, to make sure if I have it and take my case off my phone and do that whole thing. Fine, it's a little nitpicky.
Yeah, but then you're still running it over Wi-Fi. Sometimes things don't work as well over Wi-Fi. There's latency issues or your connection issues, and if you're on an airplane, you can't do that. Your computer's going to be off at home, and and we legit will may be on a trip by the time when this may actually come in time for our trip. So that's exciting to know that you may actually be rocking a Steam Deck on an airplane and use it for what it's for. And that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. Monster Hunter Rise is one of the first games. Even though I have it on Switch, I want to see that baby running. I'm sure at a better graphic fidelity, at a higher frame rate than it could ever run on that damn Switch. The Witcher is running at medium settings at 60 FPS. You're not getting that on the Switch. You're getting super low, and 30 FPS. Like, so you're getting low fidelity and low frame rate. This at least you can tweak it to get a higher frame. You can't do that on anything else. That's what's exciting about it. That's the most exciting part, is that if I want to play a game that yes, it's not powerful enough for, I can tweak it down to still play that game. And again, people don't, the naysayers out there don't realize that the biggest people buy games on Switch because of the portability. That's what the trade-off is. It's always been the trade-off. If you trade in power for portability, that's the trade-off here. So the fact that you're going to be able to play a game even at a lower res or lower graphic settings than you would on a PC, you can still play your whole library. And that means that when this thing comes in, we potentially have 700 games, that we can access day one without any additional purchases already day one, and most of them already have been confirmed to work on the stock software. So imagine when people start installing Windows and really getting crazy and really like getting those games working on there. I'm telling you, the more super obscure random little indie game probably won't work, or the older PC game by a AAA publisher that doesn't really care. Again, and it'll probably work. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. With no additional, like, not installing Windows, whatever. So that's why I'm like, I can't wait for this baby to come out. A few more days. Oh man, Elden Ring. Get a couple of rounds of Elden Ring on that shit on the while I'm in bed, that's gonna be great. I haven't finished Dying Light, so being able to throw Dying Light again, it'll probably be at a low res, I'm sure. But playing Dying Light, in bed and whatever. Oh man, Hades that you've been playing. You wanted to get some rounds in. That's what I'm saying. So Valheim. I'm excited for Valheim because Valheim's a game that's very time consuming. Being able to just sit in bed and chop some trees and build some stuff and chill and not have to be at my PC to do that. Oh man. There's so many games that I cannot wait to play on here.
I can't wait. Behind the Frame was already working. I saw somebody trying it out on the Steam Deck from Akupara.
Yeah, so
that's
put it like this. It uses something called, was it Proton, I think, or whatever, that helps Linux run games designed for Windows, right? And
Mhm.
Steam Valve is working extensively with that software to make sure that most things will work. So, and now I'm telling you, it's gonna take off. Once that happens, that's gonna be one of the defining selling points for it. Is it optimized for Steam Deck? And that I think will,
Mhm.
especially if it does pick up hand, no pun intended, Steam. Um, I think you're gonna see more and more games at using that as a selling point, especially indie games. This runs fantastic on the Steam Deck. You know what I mean? Because that's what
Oh,
people are
hell
gonna
yeah.
want. So it's gonna take a chunk out of Nintendo. I'm sure. I'm telling you. I heard someone else say this is not my thought, but that Valve must have saw that the Switch was taking a lot of its indie revenue and was like, why don't we just do this and get that indie revenue back? You already
Yes.
own it on your PC. Now you don't have to buy it again. That's gonna save.
Mhm.
That alone to me is worth the investment. That I don't have to buy it on Switch. I could
Absolutely.
take this. I could take whatever game I enjoy on the go that's already in my
Mhm.
Steam library, and I don't have to go to Switch. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's
Yep.
amazing. That's like, to me, it's a money saver. My saves
Mhm.
all transfer over. Everything like, where do I sign up? And it's only $50 more than the OLED Switch. And
Mhm.
I was already reading that, even though and I kind of regret now getting the bigger model, because apparently a 1 terabyte micro SD runs games perfectly on the Steam Deck. You don't need, so you could buy the 64 gig model and spend an extra $40 on like a 500 gig micro SD, and games run perfectly on it. There's like no difference from the SSD to the memory card. So you're telling me for a small which you would do for the Switch anyway, because the Switch you have to
Mhm.
buy it's the same thing
Yep.
though. Switch OLED for 350 comes with a 64 gig internal memory, and you can just buy an SD card to up that. So you can do the same thing here. The games run great right off. He said there was no difference. I was like, that's incredible. That's incredible. So for just a few more dollars than a Switch, you're getting a way bigger library, way better performance, and you can have a crazy storage. You don't even need to buy the $600 model. So you can
Hmm.
stay with the lower end model and run run off an SD card just fine. Which means that I got the higher end model, which means that I'm gonna have 50, if I buy a 1 terabyte card, I'm gonna have 1 terabyte. I mean, yeah, a 1 terabyte SD card. I'll have 1.5 terabytes off the jump, which is like
Mhm.
most of the games on there. That's, oh my god, I can't wait. Every indie game that I own will
Mhm.
just be available.
Yes.
And once I mod this shit, because that's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be tinkering with this shit. I'm uninstalling the OS, putting Windows, putting whatever. And once I do that, then the emulation. Oh my god, like getting PC
Yes.
emulation. That means GameCube games, Nintendo
Oh my
64,
god.
Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, anything you want. PlayStation 1 on the go, running probably
Mhm.
flawless. And or whatnot. So I'm telling you,
Mm.
and then like I said, the fact that it runs great off an SD card. I have a terabyte. I can have an SD card dedicated to fucking, emulation, right on the go. Right,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. It's gonna, even if you don't care about PC games, you can run all your old games on there. Man, it's just gonna be
Yes.
fantastic.
Gonna be great. Oh yeah.
So, yeah,
I can't wait.
it's coming, and like I said, I think it's gonna be. Like I said, I think once people see it and they see their friends with it and they see all their geeky friends like me with it, they're it's they're gonna change their mind. I hope we can show Ezra and Marvin in Puerto Rico the Steam Deck so they can open their eyes a little bit and see, like, what's great about it. I'm telling you, I hope we can do that, because or you guys keep shitting on it. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a force to be reckoned with. I'm telling you, will it be on Switch levels right away? Probably not, and that's fine. Again, I don't think it's a Switch killer. I don't think it's trying to really compete with the Switch
No.
that much.
No.
A little bit. I think it's competing for where to play indies at. Where to play the
Oh
indies
yeah.
at.
No, I mean on the
That's what it's
go,
competing
definitely.
for. But other than that,
Mhm.
again, you're not getting native Mario games and native Nintendo games on here. Older stuff, yeah, which obviously that's all gray. It's a little bit of the gray market there, but still,
Mhm.
I don't think that's what Valve is going for, and I don't care.
Mhm.
I don't care. The Switch will always have its place. That's fine. Zelda can stay on the Switch, but everything else that runs like shit on the Switch, I can't wait.
Mhm. I can't wait either. God of War is gonna be on
Oh
there.
my god, yup,
Yes, just yes.
yup.
I'm gonna catch up on my library.
I like how Death Stranding is like one of the games that shows here too. So if you want to do some deliveries, start the game over and do some deliveries on your Death Stranding, skip all the cutscenes. You could just have
Yes.
a random Death Stranding game going on because you could just play in bed or whatever and not have to worry.
Oh my gosh, that'd be something.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's gonna be cool. Like I said, the possibilities with it are gonna be pretty big, pretty massive.
Mhm. Mhm. Absolutely.
Outside of PC gaming, like I think just its intended use is gonna be amazing, but its unintended use is gonna be even more amazing. For the
Mhm.
geeks and
Mhm.
the modders and the people like me who aren't afraid to slap in a SD card or a USB or something and hack the shit out of that thing. And the thing is, it's a PC, so it's not like you have to crack it or you have to jailbreak it. No, it's gonna be fully open. And Gabe Newell said himself, he said it's gonna be fully open. You're gonna be able to fully custom, modify it, open it. I think if you're brave, you can there's even the ability to open it up and upgrade the SSD inside of it. You're taking a chance obviously, but apparently it's
Mhm.
possible. And the software side of things, it's going to be fully open to change it to whatever you want. You want Windows on it, you want a different version of Linux on it, whatever. It's all going to be possible with no limitations there. So that means that you want
Nice.
Game Pass on there, you want Epic Game
Yes.
Store, and I'm telling you,
Yes.
and I bet you anything, if Microsoft was smart, they try to work out some kind of deal with like, please let us
Mhm.
get Game Pass on there, or a licensing deal or their own version.
Mhm.
That'll say, hey, you want Steam, you want to still play your Steam games, you have that. But if you want Game Pass, something optimized for your Game Pass games, boom, we have this. I'm telling you, this is going to be the start of the portable. Just remember the EEPCs back in the day, the
Oh my
the
gosh.
micro
Yes, I
laptops.
loved it. I loved my EPC, my little pink one. It's just
Yup.
tiny, tiny. I took it everywhere.
What were those
Oh
called? Those
yeah.
were netbooks. Yeah, when netbooks blew up out of nowhere, and like everybody was offering a netbook, and because same thing, it came with Linux. You only paid $200 for it, and it let you
Mhm.
get on the internet, and that's all you needed from that thing. It was literally meant just to get on the internet, and those things
Mhm.
blew up. Everybody made one after the EEPC made it popular. Everybody came out with one. All of a sudden, this
Mhm.
company, that company, and then the tablet revolution. Once the iPad came out, forget it. Everybody made, and they're still doing it today. So I think this is going to be the next wave, especially once the chip shortage is over. They said it though. They said if they want, if a manufacturer wants to make their own version, they will work with manufacturers to get Steam OS on other products. Like they're not. This is just setting like their standard. So if
Mhm.
you're a company that can get away with it and find all the corners that they cut to make this thing available, I'm telling you, in a few years we're gonna get some monster ass portable PCs,
Mhm.
and this is where buying games is gonna take over. And I don't know, I feel like this could really force Sony and Xbox to do something like different. Like I don't
Okay.
know what, I'm just saying, like, or this could make Sony
Sony
say,
should bring the Vita back.
right? Maybe not that, but I could see this again in years from now. I could see if it did pick up, assuming it picks up steam, assuming it really sells well, right? And other companies start doing it. This could really push Sony to say day and date uh PlayStation games. They'll have to.
Mm.
They'll have to say
Yeah.
day and date on PC, not on the Game Pass service, but on PC. You're gonna get it PlayStation and PC same day. This could really push them because if Microsoft
Mhm.
tomorrow, and I'm sure they have the capital to do it, says the Game Pass, you know, the Microsoft deck or the Game Pass deck, and they come out with a similar spec thing with Game Pass already installed on it. You buy it and you get like 6 months of Game Pass for free or whatever the fuck, and all the games are available right there at no additional cost on a portable system. It's a wrap. It's a wrap for like
Mhm.
Sony's really gonna have to compete with that, and that
Mhm.
could really fuck with Sony's PlayStation. In a sense, like I said, only in game sales. Like like again, you're gonna why buy it on PlayStation when you can't play it anywhere else? I'd rather get it on Xbox where I can play it on my portable. I can play it on my console. I can play it on my PC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If Microsoft was smart, they would try very hard to get some kind of deal made with a manufacturer to get something like this out for Game Pass. And if this sells well, I guarantee it's gonna happen. Mark my words, it's gonna happen. It might take a few
Okay.
years. Don't
Yes.
get me wrong, it might take a few years, but I really feel like I would bet money that Microsoft's gonna come out with their version of this.
I can see that.
It would have to be theirs simply because Steam is they're competitors essentially.
Yeah.
They're a storefront
Exactly.
competitor. So Steam is not going to want Game Pass launcher on their on the Steam Deck. So
Just like Epic is like, we're not going to optimize Fortnite to be on the Steam Deck. They don't want it on there either.
exactly, they definitely don't want it. So it's just like, all right, well, guess I'm gonna have to install Windows because you guys are bitches. But whatever.
Exactly.
That's what it is. They don't want you playing, and they don't care. They don't care if you do that. They don't want any of their money going through Steam.
Hmm.
Put it like that's it.
Exactly.
If you install
Exactly.
Windows and you install the Epic Game Store and you play Fortnite, go ahead. More power to you. That's exactly what we want. But do you
Hmm.
want to run on Proton or whatever? Nope. That's not happening. So
Yeah.
kind of went off the deep end there with the Steam Deck. I just like I said, there's just so many naysayers out there, and I just don't like I said, they're not seeing the value in portability,
Hmm. Hmm.
and then for just the average gamer who knows about this thing, and then the value of the modding this thing to do different things. You know what I mean? And once those
Hmm.
videos come out, I'm telling you, you're gonna see the modding community is gonna go ham with this, especially that's not locked. So there's no legal gray area that you have to be careful for. So which means that you can flaunt this thing running all kinds of stuff on it. You can flaunt that and say, "Look what I got! I got this game or that game running at high settings, lock 60 somehow because
Hmm.
they tweaked the shit out of it." I don't know. I feel like we're gonna get like that's gonna be a challenge. You're gonna get some crazy challenges out there done with this
Hmm.
thing. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen.
I can't wait to see it.
Like I said, I think the first thing I'm gonna probably do is see how, because that's what we haven't seen yet. How will Windows run on this and running a game? Because Linux is very lightweight, very
Hmm.
lightweight. Doesn't act the same as something like as a Windows operating system. So that's what's gonna help some of these games run better. So that's what I would want to see. Like, how's Windows gonna run? How are things gonna run on this machine? And that's where we have to be careful because then if it's trash, then that could hold it back a little bit. But again, the modding community might fix those things and say, hey, because and I know it's possible because when I used to work in point of sales, right, selling cash registers, touchscreen cash registers, those ran on Windows as the underbelly, but it was heavily modified and a lot of services were turned off. It was very lightweight to run the software because it was using low spec hardware to run Windows. So a lot of things were turned off. So I could see that being a thing. And if Microsoft was smart, they, like I said, they'll come up with their own, or they'll find a way to copy those specs, work with another, manufacturer, and say we want to build our own. How can we get that?
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
I'm sure AMD would be happy to oblige. Well, this is what we did for Valve, and they can come up with their own configuration to run. I'm telling you, have Windows installed, have a light, whatever, and come out with their own version. People are doing it anyway. Why aren't we benefiting from this? So
Exactly.
I can see some kind of licensing deal or something happening. I don't know. You want to get Game Pass out there, portable. That's it. You want to run the game at a higher fidelity, you have a X Cloud. You want to run it natively, run it natively. Like,
Yeah.
come on,
Then they'll probably come out with a Game Pass mobile. You have console, PC, and mobile. You'll have the trio at a
right?
monthly
Or if it,
subscription.
or well, no, it's already kind of there. You mean like mobile games?
No, if you have it like
Well, that's
on,
what
if
X.
they come
That's
out
what.
with the,
I feel like that's what xCloud would be though. That's what I'm saying. Like
Got
xCloud,
it.
it would already be that. It would be like you know, if you want to run the game natively, great. If you want better performance or whatever, you can run the same game on xCloud, and it'll be
Got it.
optimized for xCloud or some bullshit. You know what I mean? Where you can run the
Mm-hmm.
game. You know, because that to me is a selling point. You know, if you want to run the game natively, great. If not, if it's something if you want better graphic fidelity, or if it's a game that the system can't handle, switch to cloud, switch to the cloud base. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so I think this is gonna change how people consider their game lot purchases now on PC. You know what I mean? Like it really is gonna, like I said, the people who only buy the Switch for to take indies on the go all want this. You know what I mean? Like,
I definitely do.
it is chunkier, it is bigger or whatever, but I'm telling you, like I said, one and done with purchases. That's what's going to be great about this thing. One and done. You buy
Mm-hmm.
one copy of a game, you don't have to buy it on the Switch anymore. Pay the extra $10 that it'll cost sometimes at a lower fidelity. But then you don't have to worry about buying a game on PC that you don't really want to sit at your PC to play. You know, like playing these simpler games sometimes just isn't worth it to do it on your gaming PC. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so this is gonna
Mm-hmm.
open up a brand new avenue for people to say, you know what, I can play this shit on my Steam Deck. You know, I can, I want to see it look better. I can go to my sit on my computer. So
Mm-hmm. My only skepticism on this is we've already been burned with Nintendo and their Joy-Cons.
no, fully replaceable analog sticks.
Oh, really? I was not
Fully
aware.
fully replaceable. Yep. It's right in the thing. It doesn't say it here. I thought it said it here, but Linus said it. He said that if you're worried about the it breaking, they're gonna sell replacement parts, and you can just
Oh,
open it and swap it out. Yep,
beautiful.
fully.
Beautiful.
Modular. Yeah, they're modular. The analog sticks are modular, so you could just pop them out and replace it if it goes. I'm telling you, they thought of everything with this shit. I'm glad you brought
And
that
people
up. That's such a
and
good
people
point. Thank you.
yeah, because like it's annoying. We've gone through how many Joy-Cons obviously because we are also just very terrible at sending in the ones that are broken to Nintendo. So that's on us. Fine. But all of these Joy-Cons, and I'm sure we're not the only ones though, are just ruined. You have kids. The Nintendo is mostly like a kid system. You have the younger kids that people are like, here, Nintendo's for kids. So here, have a Switch, child. And it's like kids are rough. And I mean, honestly, I broke mine. Mine started going because I played so much Animal Crossing. And what the hell are you gonna do with all these broken Joy Cons? You can't
Mm-hmm.
replace them. You can try to fix them and dust them off as much as you can, but it's annoying. It's very frustrating. And you telling me I can't just unscrew it and everything without being scared of taking apart the Joy-Con and just ruining the whole thing because I want to try to replace the Joy-Con on my own because then I don't feel like having to wait for it to go and come back. And the other option is spending another 60, 70, $80 on another set of Joy-Cons depending on the colors because of how special they are, blah 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 blah.
Exactly.
And I could just go and just replace the analog stick on the Steam Deck. Holy shit.
Yep.
Excuse my French. Like, that's amazing. Wow. I didn't know that.
Yep. I just found out too. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, thank you. Like, you just,
Yay.
hell yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Oh,
I agree. I
man.
agree. It's crazy to think about. Like, yeah. Like,
And people out there want this to fail.
that's what I'm saying. That's the shit that I get. Like, that's just so mind-boggling to me. Like, how does any gamer look at this and say like, oh, that's gonna be shit? Like, really? Like, I don't understand. You can look at it
I
and think
can't
it's
wait.
gonna be. It's the first low budget, high performing mobile PC ever to come out. Things like this exist,
Mhm.
but they're $1,500. They're $1,000 to $1,500 each. You know,
Mhm.
and on top of that, he did the thermals on it, and it doesn't get hot
Mhm.
around you where you hold it. He said it
Oh.
where you place your hands, it all stays cool even on longer gaming sessions. So you're not gonna have hot fucking console in your hand or whatever, like some of the other,
Mm-hmm.
quote unquote competitors. Not really competing with anything else right now. So
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
getting a nice cool system. It's not doesn't get hot in your hands. Like, oh man, I'm telling you, it's. I really, at most comfort might be something that I'm still, I have to hold out for. But other than that, like I
Can't
said, I
wait.
really
Oh
think
my
it's gonna
gosh.
be a big fucking deal, and
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna do what it's setting out to do, and I think it's gonna make me very happy, And I, like I said, I
Makes me
think
very
the
happy.
more people see it, the more will the more. Sorry, it says it, and they have an FAQ right here. Sorry,
Mm.
how easy is it for end users to replace the thumbsticks / SSD? And they says
Oh.
this says Uh, it says this is one of the most frequently asked questions we've received, but the answer is a bit complicated. So in this case, we're answering with a video. Spoiler: we don't recommend replacing parts yourself, but we still want you to have all the relevant information about Steam Deck's components. So I guess it shows like a breakdown
Way
video
construction.
of
Okay.
So they say not easy, meaning like you can't just pop off the back and swap
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it's possible. So I'm just taking a quick look. I guess the SSD is probably the scariest thing because you have to take out like a whole thing for that.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks
Mm-hmm.
it looks like the thumbsticks, yeah, they're modular, so they can. It's not impossible. All right,
Oh
I'm not gonna
man.
say in front like I guess if they do break, I mean, it's you. Oh wait. Oh no
It's
no
you,
no
it's
no
me.
no not. Yeah, yeah, it's you as like you like to open things like that and you'll fucking easily. But I'm looking at the video here, and it looks like it's gonna be fairly easy to take out the Joy-Cons. The SSD on the other hand is a little bit scary, but that's the Joy-Cons, the joysticks or whatever. It's
Oh, yeah.
popping off the back. It's popping off the back, and then there's a few little screws around where the analog stick goes in.
Oh,
So you can just and then it just pops
okay.
right out. So there you go. You can just swap it like that, and they're right there. They're right there. Like as soon as you pops it off, there you can see they're labeled R and L for the left and the right stick. Now the
Oh.
SSD looks that it's getting into that part, and that looks a little bit scary. But that I don't care
Yeah,
about because
I can understand that, but that's whatever.
yeah.
Whatever.
All right.
Ooh.
So yeah, I mean, if you can't do it, I mean, people know people. I'm sure shops will start doing that. Like, hey, we do Steam Deck repairs. So,
Exactly. Go to your nearest phone repair shop. I'm sure they'll know how to do it.
hmm so yep. The only other thing that I heard that was bad is probably the motors are not that great, but it's whatever. That probably kills battery life anyway on something that isn't gonna have the biggest battery life in the world.
Mhm.
And I really don't care about that much. But they're there, so it's not like you get nothing. But you're not getting, smart Rumble, the Nintendo Rumble. You're not
Oh,
getting that, but
yeah.
so it won't feel like ice cubes,
Oh
inside the
man.
controller. But they
The
said they're gonna
marbles.
fix some of it with an update, so let's see what happens.
Oh, I can't wait to see what they do with that. Either way, I'm excited. Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited too. It's gonna be cool. But yeah, all right. That's enough about that. I'm sure people are tired of hearing my voice. It's been 2 hours. I did not mean to go for 2 hours, but
2 hours. We'll go on for an hour. 2 hours later.
exactly. Steam Deck, Steam Deck, Steam Deck, Steam Deck.
And that's what I have to say about that.
Steam Deck.
Steam Deck. Oh man.
Oh man. So
So good.
yeah. So I'm excited. So anyway, all right then. Well, I want to thank if you made it this far. I want to thank everybody for listening in. I truly appreciate it, and definitely looking forward to having more and more episodes. Be trying to be consistent every week. Again, definitely hit the like, give us a review, leave a comment. I appreciate that. It shows me who and who's not listening, and let me know. Have you have questions? You want me to cover something else? You want me to play a certain game? You want me to tap my head and rub my belly? I mean, let me know, and I'll see what I can do about that.
Yeah. If there's anything any news that we might have missed that you're interested in that you want us to really just kind of jabber on, let us know.
Exactly. And yeah, that's all we got for this week. I'll be next week. I'll have some impressions on Elden Ring. We're gonna hopefully start some of it this weekend, and yeah, it's a great way to stay in shape, I guess. Good night.
Bye.